Hi everyone. In this video we will start to understand how to generate Excel and Doc documents and PDF documents, for example, from Excel and Doc, using services. In the previous videos we've covered some simple things, like how to connect a history for the user, uploading to Excel. Here we're getting into how to do that with code. So, I have a simple table. This is where I'm going to upload the templates. We're not going to have any template at the start, but the first thing I'm going to show you is generating a blank new document. Next, here we have the data. Here we have the lies. Let's create a row list, for the example, which contains some table with ABC columns, and here are the 3 rows it has. I have named them so that we can see what we have in the final result. And, so, we have here a field with the result. This is the file field, and here is the button that we are going to use to perform the action. What does the button do? It does a set addition to the result field. It adds a file to the current table, to the current row. We have to pass a list of rows like this to it. Row can contain name, and there can be different variants. It could be a path. If there's going to be a file here, there has to be a path to the file on the server. But if we pass binary code, there must be a file string parameter. And this is the binary code that we are going to get from services. I use the function service, XLSX, generator, and there are 2 mandatory parameters. These are template, what we pass as a template, and data, what we pass as data. With data everything is clear. I pass this row list. We cannot lattice it, of course, but you can take a select row list from somewhere you pass it from. And if we're not using a template, which means we want a new document, we pass a story like this in double quotes asterisk. New in capital letters, asterisk. Okay, let's save it. Let's see how this works, what we get. Click, wait, here's our file added, some name XLSX. So I set some name right here in name. And as you can see, it's quite cumbersome, because we need to create a list for the file field. And this thing with row, in general, is not very convenient. Now we will try to simplify it, but we get a file on the output. I'll download it. Let's have a look at it. This is the file. What we see here. Well, here's our A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, C1, C2, C3 that we have here contained in the date. What we see is that there are no headers. Oftentimes in this task, the task is to pass headers. Headers can only be made by adding one more line, the very first line. So add one more line. Let me show you right away here. This is a common task. We're going to remove the date here. We're going to make a date line. So, we go to this row data, and we need to do list add, that is, we need to add one more row. List add has 2 parameters, list, and item. The problem with item, in a good way we would take the list that's right here data, and add item. But if we move the item even forward, nothing happens, because the item is actually always added to the end of the list, and we need it the other way around. So we need 2 lists. The first one we're going to do here is titles, and we need another one titles, and let's do what we're going to do. And we're going to do a thing like this, row list create, and set. Respectively, in column 1 we'll have, these lists should be, so there will be, therefore, JSON, and it will have one value, it will be title A, and, respectively, all the rest, they should be here in quotes like this, title A. This is copied, pasted. This will be for column B. This is for column C. And here will be, respectively, title B and title on title C. That's it, okay. Yeah, the date now comes in here. Let's see what's going to happen. We should have the titles. Here we go. We've got something updated. We're downloading it again. Open it up. And there's our title A, title B, title C and their values. All in all, it's pretty straightforward. The only thing that is not cool is that we have to create such a story. For this purpose, the XLSS generator service and the DOCX generator service have such a parameter as answer type. What does it do? It selects the type of the service's answer. By default it is file string, i.e., binary code. If it is not set, it defaults to file string, so we could use it as a file string. For example, if you're going to use link to file download, I'll probably show you a little bit further on how that works. We're using file string there. And that defaults to this is how it works like this. You don't have to specify an answer type. If we want to get something back to us right away that fits our needs. So this is the way it works. Here, we didn't need to write this line to have a roll file. We write here the answer should be the roll file. And in this case we can now use this line from services instead of this file, because it will return the roll file. You might ask the next question. Okay, how does it know what name is here? It doesn't. It will return a double underscore instead of name. And if we want to set name, we have to have name here. And we set, for example, name XLSX here. And I think it's even possible without the extension. It knows what extension. Of course, it will automatically substitute the extension if it is not specified. Let's try it. Try it. Go. Here we have something downloaded. Let's try downloading. Open it up. It's working. That's great. Next we're going to do something with the template. We've done without a template so far. Just a new table. Now let's make a template. We're going to take a blank Excel as our template. And we want to do something here. We want to, for example, we want to replace this variable title and this variable value with some values. I'm going to save this and upload this template here. We have title and value there. Now here we have to, respectively, in the data that we pass in, we have to sum. Make title, sum title, and we'll have value. We'll have some value. And some value. Okay, nice. So now we need to modify our code. This is what we will remove from here. It's clear what works from services. So, in this case, instead of new, we pass here the template. Remember that in the template, in the file field, the files lie as follows. They're listed there. And we need to actually get the path to the file on the server here. This is done, we'll take one file. There's a list there. We'll take the first element of the list in the variable, the key of the file that's inside there. And we'll get exactly the path to the template file on the server. In data we pass data. But we don't have this data. We return this data. Because this is what we added to the header line there. And, accordingly, in template we have title and value. In data we set title and value to some values. Okay, let's try it. Go. It takes this template, sends it, we download it, open it and see that instead of the title and value variables we have the title itself and the value itself. Everything is very simple. Now the next question. What if we want to fill some lines? That is, we have title and value. And here we will have a thing like this. Like a string part here. So we want, for example, field 1, and here we'll have field 2, and field 3. We want a few lines to be filled in here. So we have a title value, and then we have a string part right here. Okay, I'm going to save this, I'm going to update it here. Template new, save. And let's rewrite it for clarity. We're not going to use this date here in this case. We're going to rewrite the code right here. Because usually you do it in code. So here we have the date that we're passing in. Here we have a row. And here we have the title. Well, this is an alternative variant, of course. Here we have some title. And we have a value that we wrote a variable there. Value. Some value. Now in this template we have a string starting with field 1. The first thing we have to do is we have to pass this field 1 as the key. And it, in turn, is equal to row list. Because further on we have a string part. And here we pass this row list here. I'll do here row list crate. You can take it, for example, by some codes from where select row list. But the key story is that we have to have the same keys that we're filling in. So we have to have, it turns out field 1, field 2, and here we have field 3. That's how we have to have the keys. Accordingly, here is field 2 and here is field 3. There must be keys. So we're saying that the rows start with field 1, the top left key, which we'll have. Next we have a row list, and here we have field 1, field 2, field 3. You can see that this field 1 is repeated. And here already field 1 will be a specific list of some values. Let me generate here quickly lists like 1, 2, 3. Here will be A, B, C, A, B, C, and here will be some A1, B1, C1, A1, B1, B1, C1, B2, C3. Let's do that. Okay, let's try it, generate it. Done, download, watch. Well, here we have, the title itself. The value itself have been replaced as single values, and these have already been replaced as lists. So, what will happen if we write something in the template here? So, for example, we'll write a sum here. Save it. Update the template. Delete this one. Load a new one. Try to generate. Ready. Load it. Look. And notice that when you add rows, the rows are duplicated. That is, they kind of spread the table down. Is it possible to add rows not horizontally, but add columns like this? Not at the moment. If you need, for example, a report of some kind with a large number of columns, do what we can here pass for example field 4, and if it pass it equal to empty it will save. Update template. Save. If we pass field 4 equal to empty, it will not be shown. It will be empty. Try this. Field 4 equals an empty value. Here we go. Watch. Go. Download. Open. Here, so these 3 are filled in. The 4th one is not. If it's not passed, it will be. It says sum 4. Next question. Is it possible to replace not the whole value in a cell, but only a part in a cell? For example, let's try something. Write part here, colon, and then the title will be there. That's what I do in the template. Okay, let's save it. Let's see. Template. Reload. Click. Click. Go. Same thing. Let's see the result. Yes, there it will be. You can see what we've replaced. And the last question I guess in this video is, can we transfer pictures here? Let's make it a little bit wider here so that it's more interesting somehow. And in file 4, we're going to transfer some picture. We'll save this one. We'll update this one. So, we'll do some header image. Image. Click. Header. This is going to be a field. File. Save. For example, like this. Save. There is a certain panic image here. We will now insert it into our template instead of, for example, field 4. What are we doing here? It's not so easy. So we have to pass here image row list. That is, we have to pass here necessarily row list. And since we have an image, I will insert this image row list here. I have an already prepared example. So, I have one image, and here are 3 rows. So I have to make a list repeat for the example. You're actually going to have from somewhere in there. You're going to take the images. And then we have to pass a row to each image that says type equals image. What's its height there? And it doesn't say here. But in addition to height you can pass either instead of or along with height you can pass width. And then next we say what extension these images have. This is important for generation. And then we have to pass the string file. the content in the picture itself. But it has to, because it has to be a string. We have to still package it in base 64. So we do base 64, and we take getContent. That is, it is not enough just to take the path to the file on the server. We must take the binary code of this file. Yes, it's not easy with images. Nobody promised it would be easy. So that's how we did it. Save, for example. Of course, this is in the instructions. We press go, get our file, download it, look at it. And so instead of field 4, we get these very pictures packed here inside Excel. That's the end of this video. We are going to analyze the next doc and how to generate several files at once. Because 20 minutes and it's done. And that's already a lot. Thank you for your attention. You can practice with what you've learned with Excel for now. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.